Alright, what's going on, guys? It's Marmaloo. Going to be going over last week and this week, but, first, I was streaming the other night an IM match, and we did a or a player power ranking based purely off Twitch chat. This is what everybody's thinking. I did a poll for each spot on this. This is what they put, so if anybody asks who's the best and worst combo scout, it's Slimnish and Banny. Alright, so now that's over with. We're gonna go over last week. If you didn't see, what happened on Wednesday was Head versus Cafe. It was a 5-0. Not much to say there. And Ascent versus Space Pirates. It was a pretty clean 5-1 by Ascent on Sunshine, which was a match before the big Froyo Ascent match. If you haven't seen it, we'll get into that in a second. But just a good warm up, I guess you could say. Just a day early. Good warm up for Ascent. Next one, Not Interested versus Froyo. I don't think I put this as a close match, so it was a 5-0 in favor of Froyo Tech. And the next one, Cafe versus Dunk, another 5-0. Not really expected. Dunk had a few good matches, a very good match against, Ford earlier this season, but haven't had a match like that since. So. And the big match, the big upset, Froyo lost to Ascent 4-3. If you didn't watch it, it was such a close game. The ending came down to seconds. It was 4-3 in favor of Ascent, and Froyo was on Ascent's last with seconds going, and Yite was standing on the point just in time for the clock to tick to 0, and it timed out. There were two people on last point, but Yite stalled it for long enough, and they ended up winning it 4-3. Good job to Ascent. Really good play from bot mode and the scouts from Ascent, especially bot mode. Bot mode had a really big game, a lot of big plays. And this match was just constantly back and forth. And a lot of people are just instantly thinking Ascent's #1, but I'm still keeping Froyo there, but I definitely think Ascent proved that they can beat Froyo this season, and they're going to be a big threat for winning Invite this season, the last season of ESEA Invite. And if anything, it makes the rest of the season a lot more interesting and more anticipated, where the next matchup they have, which is later in the season, and playoffs should be really good, or at least a lot more hype. While the season's, I think, about at the halfway point, a little bit past, but around the halfway point. And I did end up changing my power rankings, Alright, so King's Crew ended up dying, so I changed this. So I changed Tier 1 to Invite Winner Contender. Doesn't really... Winning Contender something. And then the black text is Dead Team. So I ended up moving Ascent from Playoff Confirmed to Invite Championship Contender. And I don't think any of the teams in the Playoff Contender category really are confirmed yet. If Cafe win this match, I think they may move up into it. And if Ford win this match, they're going to start moving up into it. Not quite yet. I'm not going to completely settle on it until they get about 8 or 9 wins, not including the bottom 2 teams and the dead King's Crew. So they're out of Invite right now. So that's it with that. So we're going to be moving in to... Let me zoom in a bit. We're going to be moving into this next week. So tonight, which is the 29th, first match is going to be Froyo Head. They're all at 11 o'clock, if I'm not wrong, EST, 11 p.m. EST. And this shouldn't be very close. Head could steal a round, especially being Badlands. Maybe the Soldiers do something on Slope. They get around, get some momentum, but should be a 5-0, a clean 5-0 from Froyo Tech. Next match, the match that I am going to be casting, going to be Ford versus Not Interested. So this match is pretty important if Not Interested want to still try and make playoffs. They need this win, or at least it'd be really nice to have a win here. And it'd make the head-to-head even, which is going to be big. Because if you don't know, playoffs goes by, if there are teams tied with records, it goes by head-to-head, and I think it's rounds 4 and then rounds against. And I don't think anybody's had all 3 of those matched, so it should only go to that. And if Not Interested wants to make it, they need this head-to-head win, because Ford is going to be the team they're going to be fighting for the spot, most likely. And unless Ford loses to Ed's Head or Excellent Theory of Dunk, if they win this match, they should be pretty locked for playoffs, unless somebody has some big wins or they, like I said, have big losses. So earlier in the season, both teams have played Sunshine once, with Ford beating Cafe Monster 3-2. That was a very close game, and recently, Not Interested won against King's Crew only 5-2 before they died. So if you just look at that, Ford Gaming should be the favorite purely off of how they played against their counterparts, but their overall success, I think, definitely backs it up. Only losing to Froyo so far, given that they haven't played Ascent yet. So, there's a lot of constant changes in the Not Interested roster. Once again, they have swapped. Corsa is on Flank Scout now, with Patty on Pocket Scout, Kryptonite on Pocket, and Ash on Roamer, unless I got that wrong or something changed in the past few days. And it's going to be big on the 4 players that keep switching in Kryptonite, Ash, Patty, and Corsa getting used to their role quickly and maybe getting something going, getting some synergy. I know that's an overused phrase, but they need to get something going with all these changes. And so going into this match, especially being on Sunshine, I'm going to favor the Ford Gaming Scouts, especially with Sandblast and Yosh both looking good on this map. Last time Yosh played this map, I think he dropped 49 frags and 20 deaths or something around there against Cafe Monster, absolutely demolishing them. And I'm definitely giving it to Sandblast purely because he's really good at taking the heals, denying the skies, killing the soldiers, and taking trades with Psy whenever they want to try and break a stalemate, try to hold a point, try and stall. All of that they're really good at and they really like doing. So, next one. So, Soldiers, I'm going to give it to Ford Gaming just a little bit. Just favor them a bit here. I think Psy is definitely still really good. Some of the best best mechanics in Invite. And Trip, he's been improving. He's been trying to get better. And I definitely think he is, at the moment, better than Ash on Roamer. I do think Psy is better than Kryptonite at Pocket. Given how they play still. I still think they're better on Ford Gaming. And for demos, I think the demos are even about here. But Stock's been looking not great this season, and I think he definitely needs to step it up in order for his team to win this map. Especially on mids, where there's a lot of rotating, a lot of the demo controlling the high ground, and they need to have some good focus fire. And overall, Stock needs to start taking over this map like he did before 2 seasons ago against Mentality when he was on King's Crew. They ended up beating Mentality a few seasons ago. If you didn't see it, it's too late. I don't think there's a VOD for it. And I think, lastly, Bears, I definitely think he's better than Ninja Nick, so given that advantage to Ford Gaming. And Bear has proved his worth throughout the past few seasons of Invite. I don't know how many he's played, but I think he was playing since season 23 or 4. 22 maybe. Yeah, 22 I think he played Invite. First time, and he's been playing since the majority of the time. Okay, so Ford Gaming are definitely the favorites through this match, with all their big wins just proving themselves previously in the season, and Not Interested having some roster flips and not being very consistent. But in order for Not Interested to win, I think Stock and Corsa definitely need to show up. Those are the big 2 names that I'm going to be looking for in this match, especially with Corsa needing to shut down Yosh, along with Ash on Roamer. They need to control Yosh, make sure he doesn't have a crazy game like he had last time. And Stock needs to be himself again. Everybody was hyping him up before. He was looking really good 1IM, and just this season he hasn't been looking himself, looking what we've seen. I don't know if it's the team, I don't know if it's him, but something needs to change for him to step up here. And next, I think that neither of the soldiers on this team can have a bad performance, or a really, really bad performance. They both play pretty supportive, as in they jump in first, they usually die, their scouts come in and clean up, and they don't really care about that. They mainly try and isolate players and just lead on fights, bomb on hurt players. And I don't think any of them should have a really bad game, like a 0.5 KD, maybe anything less than that. Maybe a little bit better. But I definitely think they need to make sure Yosh doesn't get free flank frags. In the Cafe Monster match, they let him isolate kills, get 1v1s against Purple Shirt, 1v1s against Moo, and that really can't happen at the top level, especially if someone's on fire like that and just constantly heat checking with 1v1s. You need to eventually realize that he's just going for it and not let yourself be in that position. So, in order for Ford to win, I think they're the favorites, but in order for Ford to win, I think that one of the 3 of Jarrett, Trip, and Yosh need to have a good game. Because I'm already expecting Psy and Sandblast to already have good games. They're usually consistent. They perform almost every game. And with that being said, I'm going to give it 4-2 to Ford. I think they're going to win it and definitely start securing that playoff spot in these next coming weeks. All right, so next match is going to be Space Pirates versus Cafe Monster. So Space Pirates is in the same situation Not Interested is in right now. I think they are both 2-4 at the moment. I could check, but I'm pretty certain they're both 2-4. So this is another important match for them. They're in the, like I said, the same situation as Not Interested, just playing a little bit tougher of an opponent in Cafe Monster. And they played earlier on the same map, being Snakewater, and they lost 5-3. They went down 4-0 at the beginning, and they only brought it back to 5-3 in the end. So you could go off that a little bit, saying it's going to be around there. And I think the Scouts, I'm going to give it to them. They have more experience overall, and recently the Space Pirates Scouts have swapped roles. I don't know when the last time they were on Pocket Scout, Flank Scout exactly were, but they swapped. Shamu's on a new role, Catface on Pocket Scout. I'm going to give it to Cafe purely because all the experience, and they're playing the roles that they're known for. High Five's known for combo, Moo's known for flank. And I'm going to go into the roamers. This season, Garbuglio's been looking not like himself. Underwhelming overall, and Rakuso still looking pretty good. The team overall of Space Pirates haven't been playing great, but I still think Rakuso is the number 3 roamer in Invite. So next one is going to be Hayes here. Hayes definitely, this is a big chance to redeem himself. Oh, wrong thing. Prove himself, my bad. Prove himself in this match and just show that he's worth it in Invite. This team took a risk, quote unquote, picking him up with Hayes being on, I think, the 7th or 8th place team last season. They picked him up, trying to make playoffs this season. This is a big match to prove that they didn't make a mistake there, and that he can hang in Invite and make playoffs, or at least fight and contend with the playoff teams. And this is the big one that I'm looking forward to. I'm not going to be watching this match, but if it's close, I'm going to watch a VOD. And I think that Chunky really needs to really step it up, and I think this is a chance. He's been looking good this season so far, and it's a definite tough matchup for Chunky playing against Delpo, some of the best DM on demo in the game at the moment. And this is a big match to show himself that he also in the same position as Hayes was worth the pickup and can hang in top Invite. So in order for Space Pirates to win, I think they definitely need to deal with Delpo. That's going to be a pretty big worry, and the Scouts, but that's a little bit harder. But the soldiers of Kryptonite and Hayes need to be able to deal with Delpo and just pressure him, kill him, do something, and make sure that he can't put out a lot of damage on the mid of Snakewater and the rest of the map, where you can just snipe stickies onto Hut, last, just mid. Got to make sure he's under control. And lastly, I'm going to give Zilly the lead in the medic matchup, just against Sky. And I think Sky, this is another match where another player can prove themselves. Sky definitely has the chance to prove herself in this match. So win or lose, I think this is a big statement match for Space Pirates. They need to at least go out swinging or come out with a W. Big dub against their next match. In their next match against Not Interested, which is tomorrow, the 30th. It's going to be very important, at least getting some momentum, getting some confidence. And I think in order for Space Pirates to win, Chunky and the Scouts need to play at the level or above their counterparts on Cafe. And the flank of Space Pirates should try and bully or at least fight the flank of Cafe and try and get behind for back caps or pincer plays with Rakuso getting behind or Shamu. So I'm going to give it to Cafe 5-2. I think their Cafe is looking better than they did before the season. Early in the season, I think a lot of their players have gotten more comfortable, and I hope we see some good performances from everybody in the server, but I'm going to end up giving it to Cafe. So, leading into tomorrow, the matches are going to be Ford Gaming versus Scent. Not watching this one, and I don't think it will be that close, with Ascent coming hot off a victory against Froyo last week and looking strong in general. Ford definitely is a massive task to deal with going against them if they want to try and win this game. So Ascent, they played Sunshine earlier last week. Before they played Froyo, they won 5-1 pretty convincingly. And it should be safe to say, I don't I don't think Ford should win this unless there's some big performances from 3 or 4 of their players that outshine their counterparts on Ascent. And I definitely think if they need to have any chance of winning, Yosh needs to outperform Yite. And the soldiers from Ascent need to be denied by Sandblast and Psy or Yosh. They need to be controlled while also pressuring bot mode and Slemnish, which is going to be quite a task to try and deal with all those people with the crazy mechanics all their players have. Jay and Laz, their soldier bombs, really good, really together, and you need to try and deal with them as soon as possible and try not to eat too much damage. So I'm going to give this to Ascent 5-2. I don't think there's much chance of an upset, but it definitely could happen. So next matchup is going to be Froyotech versus Cafe. So this is a 1 seed, or I guess 2 seed versus 3 seed match. The other one was a 1 versus a 4. So Froyo, they're playing on Viaduct, so Froyo looking still strong on Viaduct. I don't think they've really slacked. As you saw, the past 2 seasons has gotten picked in playoffs, and they've won pretty convincingly. Last season they won 4-1. The season before they won 4-1 or 4-2. And I definitely think it should be favored, but I don't think Cafe should be completely out of this match. They have Delpo, they have High Five, they have Moo. They're all really good. They've been looking good this season. Crazy DM. But I definitely think that Delpo and Moo need to play well. They need to. And Garbuglio needs to have a pretty decent game, given if he's on Sniper or Soldier, depending how they want to deal with Froyo. And Cafe needs to try and be able to handle the Froyo aggression, where they send Blaze, Yomps, and Eric onto the flank of Cafe and just instantly rush it down when they have the point and disrupting their entire play. They need to either focus the flank or completely ignore the flank and fight the combo while the 3 people jump at them. But I think Froyo should take this 4-1. So last match of the week is Space Pirates versus Not Interested. This is going to be a big match for who wants to make playoffs, because in my opinion, whoever wins this match still has a chance, and whoever loses is out of the running. I don't think they could make it if they lose this match. Especially if either of the teams lose the match beforehand and lose this one, they're out. No way they make playoffs. They'll have 6 losses already, and they still have to play Froyo Ascent. And most of the time to make 4th seed, you have to get 10 for 6, 10 wins, 6 losses, or 9 for 7, which is more rare, but could happen. So with both teams already losing to Ford and Cafe Monster, they need to win this in order to have some sort of head-to-head advantage against each other or a big win against a playoff team, like I said. And I'm going to go into the matchups here. So for Scouts, I'm going to give the edge to Corsa and Patty, purely because of all their experience and both teams switching Scout roles. I'm going to give it to Corsa and Patty. I think they're going to be a bit more comfortable. Corsa still has to work on his flank Scout. And yeah, it's going to be a big match to tell who's better on these new roles with them both switching. And so for roamers, I'm going to give the advantage to Rakuso. Like I said, I think he's the 3rd best roamer in Invite, and I don't think Ash is going to be able to compete with that in this match especially. And next up, I'm going to give Kryptonite the slight advantage over Hayes with the experience he has in playoff Invite in big matches. He's definitely been able to show up and show that he's good. But this is a big proving match for Hayes and a big proving match for Chunky or Stalk. I think both demos are about even. Going to give the edge to Chunky, though. Chunky's been looking great this season. And Stalk definitely needs to show that he's got it still from before, where everybody was having big hopes, calling him one of the better demos in Invite. Even though he was on King's Crew, I think that he definitely needs to show up for his team to win this match. And lastly, I think the meds are pretty even, and I think as well whoever's playing better should win this match. That's a given usually, but this is going to show who's the better medic, and whoever does do better, I think should win, especially being on Granary and just such a close quarters map a lot of times, where if a medic dies, you have to all commit and try and get on them in these small chokes, get through the small chokes, and they can just kite away. So in order for Space Pirates to win, I think that Chunky and Hayes need to play well, along with Shamu having success on a map like Granary. Shamu being on Granary, any flanks out on Granary, you have the opportunity to just win a round if you get behind when they are pushing mid and you can backgap second, which is really big. If Shamu or Corsa can get behind, that's going to be really hard for the other team to deal with. And in order for Not Interested to win, I think that Stalk and Patty need to have a good game along with the soldiers. But usually the soldiers play a more supportive role, so Stalk and Patty need to be able to cut the slack for them and just cover for them. Even though they're dying a bit more, they need to cover for them as they're making more space and dying for more damage. But I'm going to give the advantage to Space Pirates 4-3. I think they're going to win this, but I think the match can go either way. So I'm going to be streaming these tonight. I'm going to be watching Not Interested versus Ford, and then Space Pirates versus Not Interested tomorrow. It's going to be at 11 EST, if I'm not wrong, and I'll see you tonight, I guess. All right, thanks for watching.